Hey, so I've had some questionable things happen in this world I used to own with my brother. Mind you, he passed away recently. Could you possibly go through the videos I have unlisted? I can't figure out the issue and I don't know why they are the way they are. Here's a playlist containing the videos. Let me know if there are any issues.
I never thought I'd ever get caught up in a story hidden behind the horrors of mental illness, sorrow, and grief that spirals into a twisted, deranged fantasy of self-hate and a moral hatred for the supposed loved ones of those who simply passed on. It started off with a Minecraft video from someone named Zeno, who had a weird experience on a world he used to play with his older brother Isaias. The first video, titled "I Miss You Too, Isaias," starts with our main protagonist, Markus, who goes on to explain his reasonings to making this video in the first place, stating it's kind of a way to cope with the passing of his brother and the bullying he receives at school, even going on to say that his brother was the one who normally helped him with the bullying.
He used to play on the older versions of Minecraft, so a few years ago we made this world with mods to kind of replicate that old Minecraft feel. He helped build this house with me. It's not an exact replica, but it's a pretty close replica to our childhood house. It even has working lights.
As we move on, Markus gives us a quick and easy house tour, and seeing from how long it takes him to get through the first portion of the house, this world held some kind of sentimental value to our protagonist.
Oh gosh, I forgot how much he used to play.
He explains who would have each room: his parents' room, his brother, and his. And upon checking the storage room chests, he would come across a chest with a book in it. Though he had to double back to the chest, he realizes quickly that this book was signed by a user named Isaias. It was his brother's. The name of the book is what stands out to me. First Letter. Could this be hinting towards anything of significance? I don't know. However, Markus expresses his concerns about people logging onto the world. As mentioned in the messages before, it was a world that he and his brother owned, which means no one but them had access to that world, unless it was an invite sent out by them.
After he passed, I took sole ownership of most of his belongings, including his computer. No one has his logins but me. So to have access to this world, you need to be invited by me or him.
He even had his brother's possessions, his PC and account logins, meaning only he had access to that world. And then there was the book. I know the days to come will be hard with my absence. Memories will come to pass and our journey will come to an end. I will be gone, but not gone from your heart. Savor the memories we made together, Markus. Support our mom in whatever way you can. You are a bright young man. Our time is nothing but short and limited. Unfortunately, my time has come. I love you, Markus, your big brother, Isaias. I miss you too. A sweet response to a book reassuring Markus to stay strong, cherish his brother's memories, and help those who are also suffering like his mother. But pick this up with me. This is where we learn how relatable our protagonist is. His "I miss you" message wasn't just from the emotions or sentimental feelings he got from reading the book, but from correlation between the name of the book, first letter, and the capitalizations of each line on each page. We get one message from Isaias: "I miss you." Sweet but subtly creepy in my opinion. This message, initially left behind, gives Markus hope to push on, but the deeper meaning and hidden message just leaves a stain of grief and sorrow on my tongue. I can't believe anything good will lead from this, but I will say it's a little bittersweet. And then, as Markus finishes his house tour, he does notice a chest next to a tree in the distance.
That chest shouldn't be there.
Markus quickly, with no hesitation, makes his way over to that chest, going into it and finding a book called Healing Wound. If you're reading this, I'm sorry I couldn't be there to continue supporting you in your darkest times. I know you're wondering why these books are showing up around the world. I had them planted right before everything went down. I don't want you going down a dark path like me. Mental health is a struggle, and you know it is too. You're a mentally resilient kid. I've never seen you break down, no matter the stress from school or the other kids that give you shit. Markus, I know you'll be wondering why I did what I did, and I know you want answers from me or anyone in the family. If they haven't told you, you'll find out somehow in some way. No, I will always love you, and though this is a dark time for you, there will always be light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to be willing to walk in the dark to find the end. A book explaining the first letter and the book found in this chest, confirming Markus's assumptions that Isaiah indeed pre-planned the books for Markus to find. Markus would then go on to end the video by going to show off the rest of the buildings, primarily the dock that he built inspired by other infrastructure around his household, and the villager trading hall that he and his brother built for his world. However, I have to put a halt here before the end of this segment, as one very important thing happens that Markus never caught up on, and that was the black figure seemingly watching him from the top of the lighthouse the entire time he was outside after noticing the chest next to the tree. In each instance, the figure is doing something different, whether that's in a different position or flat out disappearing from sight. This world is a world accessed by other players. For someone to be on the world isn't too far-fetched. Getting the IP address by chance or having the IP or world invite leaked isn't a 0% possibility. However, for the user to not have a name that's visible, especially when this close to Markus, sparks some reasonable question. Who is this?
Hello again. It's been a while since the last time I recorded, but there's been some really weird things going on. I tried to play alone on the world, but things just kept happening. I'm going to show you what I mean, as it kind of freaked me out. As of right now, this is the first time I'm on in like a week. Remember, no one can get on this world without an invite.
It's been about a week since Markus has tried to play alone on this world. The start to the second video, Alone, has Markus concerned about unusual activity in his world. He even goes on to try and hide the fact that a player is in the world with him. However, the unusual activity that he's referring to was door changes on the main house that he and his brother built, from oak doors to spruce doors, and torches to redstone torches. However, as he does a full house sweep and storage room check, he double backs to check his parents' room. Call it superstition, but from what I could tell, Markus felt that something was still off. He would go a step forward to check the chests within the room and find a book titled N. The book read in a way only you could understand. Why does Markus only know or understand what this means? Is it something that is on the nose for us, or is it really just that he can only understand? And the rest of the chests in all the other rooms held papers with one paper in the same slot named End. I couldn't think about what this was about, let alone what kind of cipher or puzzle this was hinting at. However, Markus quickly picked up the pieces, and seeing how fast he solved it and how he reacted to it gave me reasons to be concerned.
I don't like this. Isaiah is dead.
To better understand what Markus got from this, I decided to take a look at the puzzle a little bit deeper. Now, this is definitely a word cipher that we can put together, but how he solved it is a little bit difficult to me. Taking a look at it, we know that chests have 27 slots in them. And for every chest to have something in the 27th slot, I'd assume it'd have to do something with our alphabet system, assuming that it ranged from 1 through 26 going left to right. So that means going from the chest from his parents' room all the way through to his brother's room and his, taking a look at each and every chest, the message that he got was, "Look for me, Markus. Help." That's what spooked Markus, a cry for help. Maybe the player that he's seeing around the world isn't a player. Maybe it's his brother, trapped, manifested within his world, yearning for help. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is somebody messing with Markus. Maybe they put this puzzle here for him, showing the situation that he's in. But there are a few things that we do want to point out here. First off, it's the person that left the game. I don't know what kind of name that is. I for sure cannot figure out who and what it means. Another thing is the beds. In the first video, the beds were black. Now they have changed to red beds, and Markus completely overlooks this. But it is very intriguing the fact that the torches and everything else changed. And of course, the little paper trail being left behind by Isaiah for Markus to find. Jumping forward a bit, Markus goes on to check on the villagers in his villager trading hall. He sees that 2 of them are missing. We know that this is an issue because in the first video, all of the villager slots were filled with a villager. We could check this up to the figure that we saw recently, or maybe even the player that left the game while Markus was doing the puzzle, but we don't know. Markus completely overlooks a lot of things. So there's a lot of things that could be of speculation here. Either Markus is doing something to this world, or whoever this mystery player is responsible for whatever is going on in this world. My speculation is that this player has some sort of ties to Markus, as there's no reason for this player to be on this world. I highly doubt any sane person would want to leak the IP or the invite code to a world of a dead player, of one who is grieving the death of their brother. Markus would then go to one of the towers that his brother built. However, the first chest that he goes into has an arrangement of weird items. In hindsight, taking a look at this with just a glance, everything in this chest seems normal. But taking a deeper look at this, all of these items are odd to be inside of a watchtower chest. Why wasn't there bows or arrows inside of here? Why couldn't it be anything else other than armor? Why random blocks? Why an anvil, redstone torch, or even farmland or fertilized dirt? This is an assortment of items that are just weird for it to be inside of a watchtower chest. This is a cipher of some sorts. A word cipher, one that we've solved before. So this isn't necessarily hard for us to decipher, at least in terms of knowing what it is. Taking the first letter from each item, we get this. Now, taking into account duplicate items, we know that each repeated item represents a different letter depending on how many of them there are. So our cipher would change from what we have to this. I don't know if Markus caught wind of the cipher. I don't know if he solved it mentally or if he really let it go over his head, but this is definitely warning him or telling him that he is not alone in his world. As he checks the second chest, we see a lot of the items in the previous chest in this one as well, except the one thing is the book that stands out. He takes the book, but his first actions are to question in game chat who is messing with him. He is definitely peeved about this. I can tell just by the way he is typing. All of us can. And I would be too. I definitely do not blame Markus for the way he is acting right now.
Whoever has access to this world needs to leave and stop messing around. This isn't some prank. This is a world precious to me.
I wouldn't want somebody tarnishing or even meddling in a world that is meant to preserve the memories of somebody that I've lost. So I understand where Markus is coming from. However, what is of concern is what contents are in the book. The book seems to hold a set of coordinates, and these set of coordinates are pretty far.
What the hell? This isn't some sick game.
Markus would then threaten whoever is on the world with not so nice threats. Nothing bad, but I'll say it would leak information that I wouldn't say or want on the video. Aside from that, Markus decides to do the only smart thing in this situation and find where these coordinates lead. The coordinates led to a house in the middle of the woods, in chunks that he claimed were already rendered by him and his brother. So how did the house get there? What is the significance of the house being there now? Inside of it was a red bed. In my opinion, I kind of think that this is a coincidence. And there was a chest. Inside the chest held a book. The book held an encrypted text, one that I didn't have the means of solving. I didn't know what kind of cipher was used to encrypt this text. I was going to assume a Caesar cipher, however, upon putting it in, no matter how many times I shifted the text, I didn't get an answer in return. So my luck ran out. I could not solve this cipher. And unbeknownst to us, Mark didn't want to solve it either.
I'm not reading that, nor am I going to try and solve it. I'm going home.
Upon making his way back, he stumbled across one of the pathways that led back to the house. This was one of the pathways that he was looking at earlier. Intrigued, he decided to stick around and explore a bit. In doing so, he was able to find a sign on the edge of a cliff. Intrigued, he built his way over to it. Upon reaching it, the sign read, "Alone." I can only describe frustration from his actions. He mined the sign and replaced it, leaving it blank, leaving the scene kinda distraught at what he found. He then makes his way over to the farm, something that he didn't get to talk about.
I never talked about the farm last time. Despite all this weird stuff, the farm was something I wanted to learn redstone with. Me and Isaiah wanted to learn it together.
However, he suddenly stopped picking up the wheat as he felt something was wrong with the farm.
I could have sworn this wasn't on this side.
Freaked out by the incident and seeing that the wheat was on the opposite side of where it was previously, he went back to the tower where he got the book from. I don't know what he was doing, but I think he was acting out of nervous impulse. However, he noticed something weird. A completely new pathway just abruptly showed up next to the tower. One that wasn't there in the beginning of the video, and one that wasn't there when he passed by the tower initially. Markus decides to follow the pathway that leads deeper into the forest. The path would lead to a tunnel lined with redstone torches. Before entering, Markus would fail to notice the black figure watching him from the distant tree line. At the end of the tunnel would be two signs, one with a phrase with letters missing from the words, and another with 3 numbers and the word shift. These numbers are the same numbers as the coordinates given to him from the book. This is hinting towards shifting the text given to us from the house that we found when going to the coordinates. Markus immediately put 2 and 2 together. He even states that he's going to use a decipher to go ahead and see what this is. After a bit, this is what he deciphered. I've been in my head for a while now. I can't explain what I've been seeing at night, but I can't tell if I'm going crazy or if something paranormal is happening. This constant fear washed over my body every night I sleep. I feel like I'm going to die. I close my door and no matter what I do, it always appears in my room. I hope someone can figure this out, but I highly doubt it. I just want whatever it is to leave me alone. I can't take this torment any longer. This book speaks in the perspective of somebody who is going through hallucinations. It looks like it's from the perspective of somebody who has schizophrenia, having hallucinations and being paranoid by it, having this constant fear of paranoia going through their entire body even while they're sleeping. This constant fear of feeling like they're going to die. The question is, how does this tie into Isaiah's and Markus's story? Just as Markus is about to leave the tunnel, a black figure walks across the tunnel entrance. This is the same figure that we saw in the first video, as well as the same figure that was watching him in the tree line. Why is this figure making itself known to Markus now? What is its purpose and true intentions? Why reveal itself now after Markus deciphered the book? Could this mean that this entity is trying to tell Markus something? Or is it trying to tell us, the viewers, something else? All of this seems a little fishy to me. I want to push Markus with questions and get answers myself. However, I feel like the topic is a little touchy. It's already outgoing that he came to me to look into this stuff for him. However, I feel like I'm uncovering something that I should not be uncovering. Ironically enough, this video ends with Markus seeing the entity again on top of the lighthouse. This entity revealed itself to Markus one last time before disappearing. And that's where the video cuts. I feel like this entity is trying to tell Markus something, or it's trying to hint to us of its identity. Something fishy is brewing here, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I'm going to figure out what this is all hinting at, and if that means I have to confront Markus later down the line, I'm going to do it. Video 3, titled I'm Getting Tired, starts off as usual with Markus greeting us in a happy state. However, he's back at the cliffside with the sign that he found from the second video. He quickly explains that he's been playing on the world, doing mining trips, and kind of just playing solo trying to progress. The sign has new text on it. No warmth, no comfort. Kind of hinting towards something like the dead. I don't know what this is supposed to lead us to, but I feel like this is just something to diverge Markus from whatever he is looking for. Markus expressed that he's been getting tired of these things happening around the world. I would too, especially if it was a world that held this much sentimental value to me. As he made his way back, I noticed something hugely different with the world, and that is the corrupted textures scattered all over the place. Markus says he has been seeing the corrupted textures from time to time, and mainly ignored them, thinking it was the mods that he had installed being buggy, but from what I can observe, it only seems to be affecting the areas that Markus and Isaiah worked on. Markus notices the textures started to corrupt the buildings and starts to grow some concern. He would notice the lights in the main house throwing a rave party without him and go to check it out. But what catches his attention was a sign that read, I am not who you think I am.
Who are you then? Tell me, who the f are you?
Followed by another sign by the storage room that states, but you do not need me anymore. This sends Markus into an all-caps frenzy. His next actions are harder to define, other than full-on rage. He would start off with getting the materials to make a flint and steel. But would eventually switch to destroying the farm, even going as far as to switching game modes to creative to get TNT and flint and steel, going on a temper tantrum, burning down and destroying everything for the whole video. The thing is, why couldn't he just ban the person if he had all that power? If he had the ability to do so, to switch game modes? If he was having that much trouble, and if it really was a player, why not kick them or ban them? Unless the person never existed, maybe Markus was developing some kind of mental illness like his brother Isaiah. Or maybe this entity in his world is the cause for all of the corruption. We have yet to decipher the name for the player that left in the second video, and no trails or puzzles have led us to revealing who this might be. Ironically, the video ends with Markus burning down the lighthouse, the one thing that we see this entity around the most. The last video, titled Move On, has a lot to unpack for being the shortest of the videos. To start off, we leave right off where we left with the last video. Upon the start, Markus doesn't greet us or do anything. Instead, he goes on to burn down the dock that he talked about in the first video, and the first thing he does after that is to go through the nether portal. Upon going through, he notices the item frames placed on the floor with pieces of paper placed in them, like a trail of papers leading him somewhere. He decides to follow the paper trail, seeing where it leads him, and eventually, we start to see a familiar corrupted texture. Next to it is another item frame and a paper that reads 10 years. Why 10 years? And sadly, Markus gives us an answer without even having to say it. It's been 10 years since the death of Isaiah. Markus lied to me when he messaged me in the first place. The timing of his death and everything was a whole decade ago. He would continue to follow the paper trails, and these would lead him to more of the same paper texts telling him to move on. Before he inevitably came across the entity from before. However, this time the entity seems a bit different. The name had a number 10 stuck to the end of it. 10 years. An undeciphered name. 10 shifts. I took the player name and shifted it 10 times, finally revealing the name of the player that we have been seeing all over the world. But when you flip it the other way around, it spells Isaiah. It was Isaiah spelt backwards. Everything started to make sense. The lighthouse, the pathways, the messages, the books, encrypted journal. It was all of Isaiah's doings, all of his attempts to reach out to Markus, to us, to help Markus move on. After the two conversate, Markus was given a book. Within it was a hexadecimal cipher. And did I have fun deciphering this? Trapped soul, you need to move on. It's been 10 years, and all you've done is kept my memory in vain. This is the tortured soul of Isaias. Markus's unwillingness to move on is keeping Isaias's memory in vain, preventing Isaias from moving on into the afterlife fully. All of the stuff that we see Isaias attempt to do, communicate via signs, puzzles, books, even corrupting the world, is attempts to get Markus to move on and let go of him. He wants Markus to be the best version of himself. And because Markus has been lingering on about Isaias for the last 10 years, he wasn't able to do so.